Let's discuss the small intestine channel, sinew. Pathway. The small intestine sinew channel begins on the ulnar aspect of the little finger, SI-1, continues along the ulnar aspect of the little finger and the ulnar border of the hand, runs to SI-5, distal to the styloid process of the ulna, and binds at the wrist. Travels along the ulnar aspect of the forearm to the elbow, continues to the axilla, binding at SI-8 and posterior aspect of the axilla. From here, a branch courses into the axilla where it binds. Another branch spreads across the scapula and ascends anterior to the bladder and gallbladder sinew channel, and posterior to the stomach sinew channel to the lateral aspect of the neck, where it meets the triple burner sinew channel. At the neck, it divides into two branches. The anterior branch runs to the mandibular angle, where it binds, continues along the mandible of the ear and zygomatic bone to bind at the lateral aspect of the orbit. The posterior branch binds at the mastoid process. From here, a small branch runs to the ear. The branch curves around the ear, descends to the cheek, and binds at the insertion of the masseter muscle on the mandible, continues to the lateral aspect of the orbit, and reaches GB13 on the frontoparietal aspect of the head, where it meets the other hand Yanggu Sinew channels. Clinical importance: pathology, descending sensation, stiffness, and pain of the little finger, impaired range of motion of the upper extremity and shoulder, pain, stiffness, and impaired range of motion of the cervical spine and occiput, tinnitus, and ear pain radiating to the mandible. Indication mainly for B syndromes, painful obstruction syndrome, along the pathway of the small intestine channel. The area covered by the small intestine sinew channel is larger than the covered by the small intestine primary channel. This explains why small intestine primary channel points can also be used for disorders and diseases of the cervical and thoracic spine and the whole face, for example, frontal and lateral headaches. Small intestine sinew channel originates on the dorsum of the little finger, binds at the wrist, ascends the ulnar side of the forearm to the elbow, where it binds at the medial condyle of the humerus, ascends at the arm to bind at the axilla, travels behind the axilla and surrounds the scapula, ascends the neck anterior to the bladder sinew channel to bind at the mastoid process, ascend to behind the ear where subbranch enters the ear, continues to ascend behind the ear to the region above the ear, where it then descends to bind at the mandible, ascends across the teeth to bind the outer canthus, ascends to bind at the corner of the head near the stomach ache. Pathological symptoms of the small intestine sinew channel: strained little finger, pain along the medial aspect of the elbow and upper arm, pain below the axilla and on the posterior aspect of the axilla, pain of the scapula that reaches the neck, tinnitus, pain of the ear that may reach the submandibular region, a need to close the eyes for a long period of time before being able to see clearly, tensions of the neck sinews that leads to a sinew atrophy and swelling of the neck,